When we talk about divorce, we usually think about dividing up the furniture, the house, maybe figuring out custody arrangements.
Right, the tangible things,
Yeah.
big assets.
Exactly. But there's this whole other layer, this really intricate digital web that often gets overlooked, doesn't it? Our shared online lives.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge.
And untangling all those connections, shared accounts, smart devices, all that stuff, it can feel, well, pretty daunting, but it's also incredibly important.
It really is. It's just a reflection of how we live now, isn't it? Our relationships are so deeply tangled up with technology.
Yeah.
And when a relationship ends, well, not dealing with that digital entanglement can lead to some real headaches, even security risks. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We found some fantastic insights from Dave Rebro. He's a divorce tech therapist and guide. He's really focused his work on this specific problem. He wrote a book, Navigating the Digital Divide, and he's also created this very practical divorce tech unbundling checklist guide and tips.
He really has shone a light on this hidden part of modern separation. His work offers a much-needed roadmap for what can feel like, well, a digital mess.
So our mission today really is to take his expertise and give you a clear kind of step-by-step way to understand how to identify all your digital stuff, get it organized, and crucially, secure it during a divorce.
Yeah, the goal is to help you minimize those security risks you mentioned, navigate the sometimes tricky emotional side of separating online, and just regain control.
And avoid any nasty financial surprises down the line.
Right, and importantly, as Dave Rebro emphasizes, you really don't have to feel like you're trying to figure all this out completely on your own.
That's a relief.
It is. Because with, a structured approach and the right tools, what seems overwhelming can actually become quite manageable.
Okay, let's get into it then. This idea of the overlooked digital entanglement. It's like way more than just deciding who keeps the Netflix password, right?
Oh, far, far more. We naturally focus on splitting up the physical stuff, separating household, but these digital connections, they're just as real. And they can have really lasting consequences if you don't sort them out.
Like what sort of things?
Well, think about shared Apple IDs or Google Family accounts.
Yeah.
They often control not just app purchases, but also things like shared photo libraries. I mean, years of memories sometimes.
Wow. Yeah.
Shared calendars, cloud storage access, and then you've got smart home devices. Your thermostat, maybe security cameras, often all managed under one single account. These digital threads, they run really deep.
And it's easy to see how leaving those connections open could cause problems, big problems.
Exactly. And Dave Rebro, in his work, he's seen tons of real-world examples. Imagine an ex still having access to the home security camera feed after they've moved out.
Oh, that's chilling. A total invasion of privacy.
Right. Or shared Spotify accounts that, maybe inadvertently reveal someone's listening habits, or even clues about new relationships through playlists. And the shared Google Photos library is a big one he mentions. That can contain some incredibly personal, really sensitive stuff.
Those examples just hammer home that this isn't just about convenience, is it? It's really about basic privacy, security, and frankly, emotional well-being.
Precisely. And to help people tackle this, Dave Rebro has laid out what he calls 5 core pillars for successful tech unbundling. It's a structured approach, really, to guide you through it.
Okay, 5 pillars. Let's start with the first one. Preparation. What does that actually involve?
Preparation is really about getting yourself set up for success. First, it's acknowledging that this digital untangling, it's a critical piece of the whole separation process. It's not just an afterthought.
Right.
It also means building your support team. Now, this could be friends or family who are good with tech, sure.
Yeah.
But it might also include professionals, maybe a tech consultant, or even bringing your legal and financial advisors into the loop because they might need to know about certain digital assets or access points. And crucially, preparation involves getting the right tools. Dave Rebro specifically flags his Divorce Tech Unbundling Checklist Guide and Tips and the Tech Unbundling Progress Log Sheet as key resources here.
And he has some specific advice about handling those documents too, doesn't he?
Yes, and it's important. For privacy and security reasons, especially during what can be a really sensitive time, he strongly advises keeping these documents, the checklist, the log, somewhere safe and hidden when you're not actively working on them.
Makes total sense. Okay, pillar number 2, identification. This sounds like the big detective work part. How do we even start figuring out everything that's shared?
Identification is exactly that. It's becoming a digital detective. You need to uncover all the shared online accounts and all the shared tech devices. You start broad, smartphones, laptops, tablets, obviously. Email accounts, social media, financial platforms, those are usually top of mind.
Okay, the usual suspects.
Right. But then you need to dig deeper. Think about the less obvious connections.
You mentioned smart home stuff, the TV, the Wi-Fi router itself.
Exactly. Smart thermostats, security systems, even things like those family subscriptions to streaming services. Dave Rebro suggests a really practical tip. Literally, walk through your home. Take photos of any tech you're not sure about.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, note down the brand, the model number, serial number if you can find it. You can figure out what it does later. He also says, check your password manager if you use one.
Ah, good one.
Yeah, it's often like a hidden archive of accounts you might have completely forgotten you even signed up for, let alone shared.
That password manager tip is gold. Okay, and he provides quite a detailed breakdown of the types of accounts we need to be looking for, doesn't he?
He does, and this categorization is super helpful because it prompts you to think about things you might otherwise miss. He groups them into financial accounts, so that's everything from your regular online banking and credit cards to investment platforms, crypto exchanges, even things like PayPal or Venmo.
Okay, covers a lot.
Then what he calls top-level accounts, your main Apple ID, your Google ID, your Microsoft account ID. These often act as keys to a whole kingdom of other services.
Right, they link everything.
Exactly. Then family sharing accounts, again, Apple and Google are the big ones. Location tracking apps like Find My Friends or Google Maps share. Communication accounts, email, phone, voicemail, text, video chat platforms like Zoom or Skype, even screen sharing tools. Social media, obviously. Medical and fitness tracking platforms or apps.
Wow, it's extensive.
It keeps going. Computing and network devices, your modem, your router, any smart home hubs. Then the specific smart home devices themselves, voice assistants like Alexa or Google Home, smart thermostats, door locks, cameras, even smart appliances.
Right.
Online file storage, Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud Drive, online entertainment and streaming Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, etc. And even online shopping accounts like Amazon, which might have shared payment methods or order history.
Ew. It really sounds like the key here is just being incredibly thorough. And he mentions kids' accounts, too.
Absolutely critical. If you have children, you must identify any accounts they use because these are often tied into family plans or they might have their own online profiles that need managing or separating as part of the process.
Okay, so we've done the prep, we've put on our detective hat and identified everything, hopefully. What's the third pillar?
The third pillar is organization. Now you've got a potentially massive list of accounts and devices, right? You need a structured way to manage it all. This is where a central checklist, like the one Dave Rebro provides in his kit, becomes absolutely invaluable.
So how do we use this checklist effectively? It's not just like a list to glance at.
No, it's designed as a working document. He gives clear instructions. For example, if you see an item on the list but you're not sure if it applies or what it is, he suggests just circling it. That's your reminder to investigate it later. Maybe ask your tech support person or friend. If it's something you definitely know needs to be unbundled, you check the box next to it. Simple. If an item clearly doesn't apply to your situation, maybe you never had a shared crypto account, you just put a dash through it.
Right, keeps it clean.
And really importantly, if you find something during your identification phase that isn't on his pre-filled list, you add it. There's space for that.
That makes it really adaptable, doesn't it? So it fits everyone's specific situation and nothing slips through the cracks. And is there a way to flag things you need help with?
Yes, absolutely. He suggests using maybe an asterisk or just writing the letter H next to items where you think you'll need assistance, whether that's from your ex-partner, a tech friend, or a professional. He even suggests using different colored highlighters, maybe one color for tasks you can do yourself, another for tasks needing discussion, another for tasks needing expert help.
That visual coding sounds really useful. It helps break down what could feel like this giant monolithic task into smaller, more manageable chunks. Okay, so identification organization. What's pillar number 4?
Pillar 4 is progress tracking. Okay, knowing what needs doing is one thing, but actually getting it done and keeping track of where you are with each item, that's another challenge. This is where the tech unbundling progress log sheet comes in.
Okay, the log sheet. What kind of details are we tracking on that?
For every single account and device you've listed on your checklist, you'll use the log sheet to record more detail. Things like the name of the service provider or the manufacturer. What's its current shared status? Do you actually have the login information, the username, the password?
Crucial information.
Definitely. What's the status of two-factor authentication or 2FA?
Right.
which, by the way, is that extra security layer, usually a code sent to your phone that you should really have enabled wherever possible.
Good reminder.
There's also space for the designated owner who's supposed to end up with control of the account or device. And a section for notes, which is really useful for jotting down, the actual login details if you have them and feel it's safe to record them there, or maybe specific steps you've taken or what still needs to be done for that item.
So it really functions like a dedicated project management tool just for your digital separation. Does he give any advice on how to prioritize tackling this list? It could still feel pretty long.
He does. He suggests a couple of ways to approach it. You could prioritize based on urgency. So tackling things like financial accounts, home security systems, maybe your primary phone account first makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the critical stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, you could start with some of the easier, quicker items. Get a few wins under your belt, build some momentum, make it feel less overwhelming.
The small wins strategy. I like that.
Yeah. The absolute key, though, whichever way you prioritize, is to consistently update that log sheet as you make progress. Check things off, make notes.
Seeing that progress logged must be really motivating and help keep you focused. Okay, that brings us nicely to the fifth and final pillar, support. This is about not going it alone.
Absolutely. Dave really hammers this point home. You do not have to navigate this complex digital maze by yourself. Your support network, again, tech-savvy friends or family, maybe specialized tech consultants, they can provide invaluable help. And he also offers his own professional services, his tech unbundling coaching.
What does that coaching actually cover?
His coaching sessions are designed to give you personalized one-on-one guidance. He can help you really understand the checklist, make sure you've identified everything relevant to your specific situation, walk you through the actual steps needed to unbundle different types of accounts or devices, and importantly, implement essential security best practices along the way.
So, tailored advice.
Exactly. He can answer your specific questions about your unique digital setup. Plus, he also offers direct tech support services if you need hands-on help with things like actually deactivating an account or reconfiguring a device.
So it's like having a dedicated tech specialist on your divorce team focusing just on these digital issues. And I think the materials mentioned a discount.
Yes, for people using his resources, he offers a discounted rate for those coaching sessions. And they're done remotely, via Zoom or FaceTime, so they're accessible pretty much wherever you are. It's a really valuable option if you feel you need that extra layer of expert individualized support.
Now, one area that must add a whole other level of complexity is when kids are involved, right? How does this whole digital unbundling thing change when you're navigating co-parenting?
Oh, it adds significant complexity for sure. Take those family sharing accounts from Apple or Google we mentioned. When kids are involved, unbundling them can be tricky. There are often restrictions, for instance, on removing accounts for children under 13 from a family group.
Right, I've heard about that.
Location sharing apps also become a really sensitive area. You need clear agreements and boundaries between the co-parents about how, or even if, location sharing will be used. It's about ensuring both parents have the information they need regarding the kids, but without, infringing on each other's privacy inappropriately.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the smart home devices. If kids are moving between two households, you need to figure out controls for things like thermostats or security in both homes, again, without creating conflict or security issues.
It really sounds like in those situations, clear communication is paramount. And maybe even using specific digital tools designed for co-parenting.
Exactly. Things like dedicated co-parenting calendar apps or digital coordination platforms can be incredibly helpful. They provide a neutral space to manage schedules, share important information about the kids, and maintain transparency in a way that works for both parents.
Okay. Now, we've been talking a lot about the technical nuts and bolts, passwords, accounts, devices. But Dave Rebro also points out, and it's so important, there's a significant emotional layer to all of this digital unbundling, too.
That's such a crucial point, and it often gets missed in the practical scramble. I mean, the simple act of unfriending or blocking an ex-partner on Facebook or Instagram, while it might be necessary for boundaries, it can feel really loaded, emotionally heavy.
Yeah, it's a definite statement.
It is. And similarly, encountering shared digital memories, stumbling across old photos in a shared cloud drive, or rereading old messages that can trigger really strong emotions and potentially make the healing process harder.
So it's not just about the technical task of changing settings, it's also about consciously creating new digital boundaries that actually support your emotional well-being moving forward.
Precisely. Yeah. And Dave Rebro does a great job of reframing this. He encourages people to see the unbundling not just as, a tedious technical chore, but as an act of empowerment. It's a step towards emotional healing, towards reclaiming your own individual digital space as you start your new chapter.
That's a really powerful way to look at it, actually. It changes the perspective from feeling overwhelmed by the to-do list to feeling empowered by taking back control. So for someone listening right now who's maybe facing this, what's the main takeaway message?
I think the most important thing to remember is what we said at the start. You are absolutely not alone in this. And there are really good, comprehensive resources out there designed specifically to help you. Dave Rebro's toolkit, his book, Navigating the Digital Divide, and that companion planner kit with the detailed checklist and the progress logs we discussed, it's incredibly valuable.
And these tools are really designed to break down what feels like this enormous, maybe scary undertaking into clear, manageable, step-by-step actions, right?
Absolutely. The checklist helps you systematically identify everything you need to consider, categorized nicely. The progress tracker gives you that clarity and helps you stay organized and see how far you've come. And the guide itself offers practical tips and advice all along the way. Plus, he's made them user-friendly, accessible on different devices.
It really underscores the idea that maybe nowadays having a tech advisor, or at least tech-focused resources during a divorce, can be just as vital as having your lawyer and your financial advisor.
It truly is becoming that way. Our digital lives are just so deeply interwoven with our personal information, our finances, our communications. Having expert guidance, or at least a solid plan for navigating the digital separation, can provide just immense peace of mind.
Okay, so to kind of wrap up our deep dive here, tech unbundling. It's critical, often underestimated, but absolutely critical part of divorce today.
Yep.
Preparation, thorough identification, getting organized systematically, tracking your progress consistently, and leaning on your support system, those are the 5 keys to doing it successfully.
And the good news is, resources and help are available. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. It's all about proactively taking control of your digital life. It safeguards your security, protects your privacy, and really supports your emotional healing as you move into whatever comes next.
Well said. It's about clearing the decks digitally so you can move forward cleanly.
So here's maybe a final thought for you listening. Just take a moment, perhaps later today, to think about your own shared digital footprint. Maybe just identify one single shared account or one device that you know needs addressing. Remember, you're definitely not navigating this alone, and taking control of your digital life, piece by piece, is absolutely an achievable goal. We really hope this deep dive has given you some clarity, maybe a bit of encouragement to take those first steps.
You've got this. Take it one step at a time, and know that there are resources and people who can help you through it.
We're cheering you on every step of the way.
And that wraps up our deep dive to tech unbundling during divorce. We hope you found this exploration informative and empowering. Remember, it's a process, and you're not alone.